Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 7 math. Find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 7 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter fractions and mixed numbers. The lessons we're going to cover today are equivalent fractions, simplify fractions, understanding fraction word problems, least common denominator. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So here I am on grade 7 math, chapter. Let's just start with the first lesson, that equivalent fractions. Is equivalent to 1 by 2. So 4 by 8 is equivalent to 1 by 2. You can use the number line to show which fractions are equivalent. This is the uh, number line for 1 by 2. Like 1 by 2 means exactly the half 3 by 4. So 4 by 8 is exactly 2. Let's just start with the test questions. Type the missing number that makes these fractions equal. That is 6 over 9 equals by 3. So here we have 3. Just divide this fraction by 3. 3 times 2 is 6 and 3 times 3 is 9. Is 2. So the missing number is 2. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is 2. Which fraction is equal to 1 by 2? So we have to see which fraction is equal to 1 by 2. You can make the number line and see which fractions are exactly equal. So let's make the number line for 1 by 2. 1 by half, right? So this is 0, this is 1. This is 1 by 2, like the half of 1. Now let's just make it 4 by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 4 by 10, and the fourth one is 4 by 10. 4 by 8. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 4 out of 8, right? 3 by 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 3 by 4. Then 6 by 8. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 by 8 it is. So 1 by 2 and 4 by 8 are exactly equivalent as 4 over 8. Option number 2 is the correct. That is 4 over 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Type the missing number that makes these fractions equal. That is 2 by 4 equals 4 over the missing. So 2 times 2 is 8 and 4 times 2 is, that is 8. Option number 1 is the correct option. Number is 8. Type the missing number that makes these fractions equal. Two over 10 is equal to, the missing fraction divided 5 times 2 is 10. Then what number times 2 is 2? That is 1 times 2 is 2. That is 1 times 2 is 2. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 1. Which fraction is equivalent to 3 by 9? We need to find out the equivalent fraction of 3 by 9. We can do by making the model. that equals 1 by 3. So option number 1 is the option, 1 by 3 it is. Okay, the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move this lesson. The next lesson is simplify fractions. So let's start with the lesson. The next lesson is write 5 by 9 in lowest terms. A fraction is written in lowest terms when it uses the smallest possible numerator and denominator. To put a fraction in lowest terms, find the largest number that divide both numerator and denominator. Divide both numerator and denominator by that number. So for 5 and 9, 5 is a prime number. They do not have any common number, right? So 5 by 9 is already in the lowest term. Let's just start with the test questions. Write 1 by 4 in lowest term. So how do we write 1 by 4 in lowest term? Best number that can divide both 4, right? But we do not have any common number that is already in the lowest. That is 1 by 4. Option number 2 is the correct option. Write 3 by 6 in lowest term. So let's just find out the greatest number that can divide both numerator and denominator, right? So the greatest, so 3 times 1 is 3 and 3 times 2 is 6. That is 1 by 2. Option number 1 is the correct option. Write 5 by 9 in lowest term. So 5 by 9 is already in this form. So the correct option is 5 by 9 because 5 is a prime number. So that is 5 by 9. Option number 2 is the correct. Write 6 by 8 in the lowest term. So which is the correct option? So 2 is the greatest common factor that can divide 6 and 8. So 2 times 3 is 6 and 2 times 4 is 8. Option number 1. Write 4 by 6 in lowest term. That is 2 by 3. Option number 2 is the correct option. Write 6 is the correct option. That is 2 by 3. Option number 1 is the correct option. Write 2 by 6 in lowest terms. That is 2 by 3. Option number 2 is the correct option. Oh, 1 by 3, not 2 by 3. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's start with the test questions. There were 3 bugs on a leaf. One flew away. What fraction of the bugs flew away? That is 1 out of 3. Option 1 is the correct option. 1 out of 3 it is because the total bugs are 3. 1 flew away. 1 out of 3. Option number 1 is the correct option. There were 8 ducks on a pond. 5 flew away. What fraction of the ducks were left? You need to find 5 flew away. What fraction of the ducks were left? So 8 minus 5 is 3. Number 2, 1 is the correct option. 3. There were 9 frogs on a log. 4 hopped away. What fraction of the frogs hopped away? So which is the correct option? That is 4 out of 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. Kendra made 5 cookies. She put sprinkles on 4 of the cookies. What fraction of the cookies had sprinkles? That is 4 out of 5. Option number 1 is the correct. There were 8 squirrels and 7 ran away. What fraction of the squirrels were left? Left? How? How? What fraction of the squirrels is 1 out of 8? Option. A restaurant cook made 17 pieces of toast. She put butter on 6 of them. What fraction of the pieces of toast had butter? So, which is the correct option? Six out of 17 had butter. Option number two. Option. Regan and her sister went for a walk. They saw 12 cats. 6 of the cats they saw were gray. What fraction of the cats were gray? So, which is the correct option? That is 6 out of 12 and 1. 2 is the correct option. Paula went to a bird party. There are 9 guests and 7 of them were wearing party hats. What fraction of the guests were wearing party hats? That is 7 out of 9. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is least common denominator. Let's just start with the questions. What is the least common denominator of 7 over 8 and 11 over 12? So the denominators are 8 and 12, right? Let's just write down the multiples of 8 and 12. 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2, 8 times 3 is 24, 8 times 4 is 32, and 8 times 5 is 40. 12, 24. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 24. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the least common denominator of 1 by 2 and 9 by 10? So let's just write down the common multiples of 2 and 10, right? So here we have 2 and we have to write down the multiples. 2 times 1 is 2, 10. The correct option is 10. The correct option is 10. Option number 1 is the What is the common denominator of 6 and 8? 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 times 4 is 24. Times 2 is 6 is 8. So 24, the least common denominator is 24. The correct option is 24. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the least common denominator of 1 by 3 and 5 by 6? Let's just write down the least common denominator is 9. 2 is 6, 3 times 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12. 12 it is. 6 it is. Option number 2 is the correct. What is the least common denominator of 1 by 6 and 1 by 12? That is 12. Option number 2 is the correct option. The least common denominator is 12. Option number 2 is. What is the least common denominator of 3 by 8 and 1 by 2? That is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So, grade 7 math chapter we were working on is fractions and mixed numbers. The lessons we have covered today are silent fractions, simplified fractions, understanding fractions word problems, least common denominator. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat to help you. Either you can write them down in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions if you have any. So questions you can please ask if you have any. Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.